Have you ever wondered why no matter how much you journal or visualize, your old patterns keep showing up? Do you know what brain system is turning your repeated thoughts into automatic subconscious patterns? What if the key to manifestation wasn't just mindset, but actually how your brain wires itself? I'm so glad you're here, friend, because we're going to talk about something that sits right at the intersection of neuroscience and manifestation, the essential brain areas that play a role in reprogramming your subconscious mind and creating the life you truly desire. But before we get into this juicy episode, I want to remind you of several things. The private Facebook community, Rewired to Align, is ready for you to join. In it, you're not going to only find like-minded souls like you and me, but also there are reflection posts, there are support, and most importantly, community. So make sure to click the link in the show notes to get into that Facebook group. You're going to love it. Also, remember that if you're looking to get into alignment and create the life that you want, that you truly desire, you can work with me. I can be your accountability partner. And you have options. We can meet for a clarity session if it's something that you need really fast, or if you have something very specific that you want to achieve and you have the time, we can work on preparing a bundle of sessions. Spiritual neurocoaching is transformative and powerful, and you can see some of the testimonies of my clients in my website, and I'm also going to leave that link in the show notes for you to check out. Now, let's get started with the episode. Hello, beautiful soul. What beliefs do you hold about yourself that might be limiting your potential? In what areas of your life do you feel you are not living authentically? What fears prevent you from expressing your true self? In what ways do you feel disconnected from your higher self, and what beliefs contribute to this disconnection? Welcome to NeuroSoulSync, a podcast that blends neuroscience and spirituality, exploring the connection of our spiritual and emotional lives with the neuroscience of our bodies and brain. I'm Michelle Murray, your host, certified spiritual neurocoach, IVF twin mompreneur, lover of human design, and all things personal development. A few years ago, I felt exactly like that, yearning to live on purpose and authentically. I wanted to live fearlessly, prioritizing my needs and creating a life aligned to my core values and beliefs. And I was able to master this through neuroplasticity, spirituality, energetics, and the exact simple tools I will share with you here. I believe that when we are in alignment with who we are, life transforms from stuck and resistant to a journey of flow, impacting not only ourselves, but the collective consciousness. So if you're ready to get in the driver's seat of your life, live with authenticity, and discover simple yet powerful solutions that will guide you from feeling stuck to fulfill, this is your sacred space. Let's get ready to vibe high, align, and manifest. Welcome to NeuroSoulSync, friend. Welcome to the podcast. I am Michelle Murray, your favorite spiritual neurocoach, and I am so happy to be here. How is your Tuesday going? It's been raining so much in Miami, but we had a very dry summer, so I'm so glad that the plants and the trees and nature is getting all this beautiful, beautiful water. Although, let me tell you, my pool is overflowing. I'm looking at it, and the water is actually it's about to overflow. I don't know. It's about to overflow. Anyway, before we get started, I want you to pause for a moment. I don't know where you are, if you're in the car, or if you're at home, or washing the dishes, or listening to me in your spare time. I want you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and relax. You are with me now, and this podcast is all about getting you into a higher vibration. Think of your favorite place. What is it? Is it the ocean? Mine is the ocean. Is it the mountains? Do you have it in your thoughts? How do you feel being in your favorite place? I want you to stay in that feeling while you are here with me listening to this episode. So now that you are in your favorite place, feeling joyful, peaceful, or any other feeling that you are feeling right now, let's get started. I know that when most people think about manifestation, and if you think about manifestation, you imagine vision boards, affirmations, journaling, and then, some people think, oh, well, manifestation is really woo woo or out of this world. And, journaling and affirmations and vision boards, those tools are super powerful. But what's happening underneath inside of your brain is what really drives lasting transformation. That's why all these tools work together with subconscious reprogramming, because you want lasting change and lasting transformation. And remember, as I have mentioned before many times, we do not manifest or create the life we desire from our thoughts. We manifest or create it from our subconscious self-worth. And it is very important to understand this, because when you do, you not only have a sense of empowerment, but you also are clear that you're not just hoping for change. You're literally rewiring your brain. So today, what we're going to do is that I'm going to walk you through the key brain areas that work together in this process. And please don't worry, I'm going to keep the science very easy to understand. And then at the end, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you some practical reflections and tips that you can use right away so you can start creating the life that you want, friend, because at the end of the day, this is why you're listening to this podcast. Okay, let's get started by understanding the 5 key brain areas that work together in this process. Number 1, and you've heard this one before, the prefrontal cortex, or the executive center. And this area is located right in your forehead area. Think of your forehead area, that's where it's located. And you can think of the prefrontal cortex, or PFC, as the CEO of your brain. This is where conscious thought, reasoning, planning, and focus, all of that happens. And the PFC is typically finished developing around age, it matures fully around age 25. And I think I've mentioned this before in another episode. And this is key to understand, because if we are parents and we have children and we have teenagers and we have young adults, you know how some of their emotional responses are and how impulsive they can be. But if we know that this area of reasoning and conscious thought fully develops around age 25, we can create more compassion towards them, right? So think of it, if you're not a parent, but you are a friend, then have friends with kids, or if you're an aunt or an uncle, think of it. Think about this. Now, in manifestation, your prefrontal cortex is active when you set intentions, right? You're defining what you truly want and make sure to be really clear. You visualize, you're imagining that beautiful future reality as if it's already happening. Remember that I talked about this when we pray, Matthew, the book of Matthew. Okay. Prioritize, right? Keeping your long-term goals front and center instead of getting lost in short-term distractions. And managing self-talk. You're consciously choosing empowering thoughts instead of looping and looping and looping in old negative patterns. So every time you pause to write down a clear intention or gently redirect a negative thought into an empowering one when you're doing journaling or when you're creating your beautiful affirmations that I've told you to use, you're strengthening this executive part of your brain. And if you want a self-talk rampage with great affirmations about self-concept in the main areas of life, make sure to visit that episode. I'm going to link it in the show notes for you so that you can re-listen to it again and again. Okay, let's go to numero dos, number 2. The limbic system, the emotional amplifier. So the limbic system is basically your emotional brain. This is where memories, emotions, and motivation live. The amygdala, which is the part of your brain that acts like a tiny almond-shaped alarm system for danger, attaches emotional charge to every experience that you have. When you visualize your future with joy, with gratitude, or even with excitement, right? I don't know if you are visualizing yourself going to Egypt. That would be me. You're literally making those images stickier for your brain. The hippocampus, which is another area, is a tiny seahorse-shaped part of your brain that acts like a memory filing cabinet. Yes, back in the day, those memory filing cabinets, people who remember those. This also links these imagined scenarios with memory, so your brain starts treating them as familiar instead of distant what ifs. So you're bringing it closer to home. And the limbic system is tied to dopamine, dopamine, the feel good neurotransmitter that I have been mentioning several times in the podcast. Anticipating your goal, friend, releases dopamine, which motivates you to keep moving forward. This is why emotions are the fuel of manifestation. It's not just about thinking, it's about feeling all of this, all of that you're visualizing as if it's already real. I talk to my husband every time about this, and I think of it as living in the end, right? Living as if it's already happening, living in the end. And I've told you that before, that the feeling is the secret. Actually, if you go to my Amazon storefront, you can find this book called The Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard, that I recommend that you do a deep dive into Neville Goddard and his teachings. And do me a favor, just buy the book. It's $7. $7. $7 that you will spend and understand this concept better. Let's go to number 3, and one of my favorite tools here, the reticular activating system, the filter, or the RAS, as people like to call it. So the RAS, this network of neurons that is located in your brainstem, is like the bouncer at the door of your mind. So it filters what information gets your attention. This RAS is so important and key to manifestation. And here's a simple example that I'm going to do. And you've heard this example before, probably. So you decide that you want to buy a car. And it's a certain brand. I don't know, Land Rover, Mercedes, Jaguar, however, whatever you want, Ferrari, Lamborghini, I don't know. And suddenly you start seeing that model everywhere you go, in the highway, in the parking lot, in the design district, I don't know, wherever you live. Did the cars magically appear? No. The cars were already there all this time. What happens is that the reticular activating system started flagging that information as important. And the same is true for your goals. When you focus very intentionally on something, the reticular activating system helps you notice opportunities, resources, people, everything that aligns with that goal. It bridges conscious focus and subconscious attention. Before moving forward to the last part of this episode, I want to remind you to join the private Facebook community Rewired to Align, a group of beautiful souls like you and me that are up-leveling their lives to a better version of themselves. And the best part, yes, we can all share the journey together. Also, if you've been thinking about coaching, now is the time, friend. Last quarter of the year is upon us, and it will be great to have an accountability partner that can help you move towards your goals so you can start the new year fresh. One clarity session can help, but a bundle of sessions will be super transformational. I'm going to leave both links in the Facebook community and to my coaching practice in the show notes for you. So go ahead and check them out after you are done listening here. Now, let's explore the other 2 key areas of the brain involving subconscious reprogramming and manifestation. Okay, my friend, numero 4, number 4, the basal ganglia, and it's just the habit maker. If the prefrontal cortex is the CEO, The basal ganglia are the operations team. And the basal ganglia is a group of subcortical structures that form an interconnected network within the brain. Listen, don't worry or don't get too hung up on the science. At the end of the day, we are here to understand these concepts as easy as we can so we can create the awareness when we are working to get into alignment and manifest. That's all what we are doing. So no worries too much about thinking or memorizing the name of each area. So the basal ganglia automates behaviors, not only physical, but also thought-based behaviors. Practice a new habit long enough, and the basal ganglia takes over, so it becomes second nature. This applies to mental habits too. Affirmations, mantras, or even simply replacing I can't with I'm learning to becomes easier and automatic over time. This is how subconscious reprogramming actually takes root. Repeated thoughts and behaviors shift from effortful to effortless. Our brain loves repetition, friend. And the last part of all of this is the default mode network, the inner dreamer, the DMN. Oh my God. And this brings so many memories of my professor Gregory when I was getting my certification as a neuro coach, because he had the most funny way of explaining and teaching us all the concepts so that we were able to remember. And let me tell you what he said. And what he said was, think of the default mode network as your brain's internal, often silly, what if engine, responsible for daydreaming, ruminating, reminiscing about that embarrassing thing you did last year, or we all did last year, or last week, or whatever. And even coming up with those random shower thoughts that lead to brilliant ideas. Yes, this is how my teacher, Gregory, explained this to us. So, this network is most active when you're daydreaming or self-reflecting or simply at rest. And it is involved in, obviously, self-reflection, creating your sense of identity, and also in creative rehearsal, imagining scenarios, playing with what if. The default mode network is powerful for manifestation because it integrates all the things that you're visualizing and all the reflections at a subconscious level, even when you're not actively trying. And this is why those quiet moments that you have when you're journaling, when you're meditating, or even just letting your mind wander are so impactful. And my question to you, friend, is, are you doing any of these practices? Are you taking the pause? Are you meditating? Are you journaling? Friend, what are you waiting for? Nothing changes if nothing changes. I'm just telling you, I'm leaving it out there for you to think about it. Now that we have an understanding of how each area works by itself, let's find out how it all works together. And here is the magic. Are you ready? The prefrontal cortex sets your intentions and plans. The limbic system adds emotion, making those intentions sticky. The RAS, or reticular activating system, filters reality to bring opportunities into your awareness. The basal ganglia automates the supported habits, and the default mode network integrates all of this beneath the surface while you rest. And together, through my favorite concept of all times, neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, you are literally reshaping your mind to support your new reality. Talk about bringing the science to a concept that has been judged as woo-woo for a long time. Now you know manifestation is not abstract, it's very clear, and there's science behind it. So if you have somebody that tells you that it's woo-woo, you can use this information to back yourself up. Now let's bring this down to earth, all of this information that we just learned. And I hope that you are not overwhelmed, right? Because it's a lot, but I will probably create a transcript of this and make it a blog post so you can visit my website, michellemaripacheco.com, and where it says blog, you can click podcast, and I'm going to have this one over there for you so that you can see it and you can read it if it's a lot. Let's bring it down to earth with some daily practices so you can start using this. Get your pen and paper because I'm going to give you 5 ways to do this. Are you ready? I'm ready. Number 1, intention journaling. Each morning, write one clear intention. Keep it simple, friend. Don't overwhelm yourself. It can be, I am creating more peace in my relationships, or I welcome opportunities for abundance. Very easy peasy, right? And listen, if you want to go back to last week's episode about neuro-aligned journaling, where I give you a more detailed flow on how to do this, just go back to last week's episode. Number 2, emotional visualization. Let me be very, very specific. Emotional. So you're going to spend 2 or 3 minutes not just seeing, but you're going to be feeling your desired outcome. Feeling. The feeling is the secret, friend. Remember the book. Go get it. My Amazon storefront is in the notes. Ask yourself, what emotions would I feel if these were already true? Very simple. Feeling is the secret. Emotional visualization. Number 3, you want to filter training. So you're going to choose one symbol or one word connected to your goal and notice how often it shows up. And you know what you're doing? You're engaging your reticular activating system to filter your environment. If you want to truly understand the reticular activating system, I highly recommend you listen to episode 23 for this. Number 4, habit anchoring. Attach a new habit to an existing one so it's not that difficult for you to follow through. For example, every time you brush your teeth right in the morning. I'm just kidding. Repeat a mantra like, I trust the process of my life. And when you do this, what you want to do is that you're making sure that you're looking into your eyes in the mirror so that you're connecting to your deeper, deeper soul, beautiful soul that lives in you while you mentally repeat the affirmation. And number 5, restful integration. You have to give yourself moments of stillness, friends. No phone, no distractions, nothing. You're going to let your default mode network process and integrate. And I was talking to my husband yesterday about this because it is so important to take a pause daily. We live in a time where we are constantly bombarded with information. It's information overload everywhere. I feel like I'm in a football field and I don't know how to play football, you know? That's how I feel with all the information that is coming at us every single time. So taking a pause at the beginning, middle, and end of your day is key. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you can. And I have a couple of reflection questions for you to end this episode and wrap it up. Number 1, which of these practices feel most aligned with where you are right now? And how can you start practicing it this week, right? We want to start taking action because integration is key. It doesn't matter if I come here and you're listening to this podcast or reading the books or going to all the meditation out there or full moon meditations or any other tool that you're using if there is no integrating. So make sure that you are integrating everything that you learn. Number 2, what part of your brain have you been unknowingly activating the most? This is going to be creating awareness. Has it been the part that loops into old patterns or the part that's ready to create new patterns or new habits? What's one small thought, one emotion, or one habit you can choose today that will move you closer to the reality you desire? This is very key, and you can write it in your journal. Remember, every single choice, every intentional practice is a signal to your brain. Your brain is not here to make you happy. It's here to keep you safe. So we have to work together. right? If we want to make changes in our lives. And what you're doing is that you're teaching it what to prioritize, what to automate, and what to believe is possible for you. Once you do this, what I want you to do is to share with me your findings and your insights. Why? Because it helps me to create episodes that you like. Market research, people, market research. And you can share by following me on Instagram at Michelle Maripacheco. Are you following me on Instagram? You have to follow me on Instagram, friend. And then you send me a DM and you tell me, your feedback, what you want to hear, or how this episode served you. You can do that. Just do so. My favorite hangout, Instagram. And to close it off, because we're going to wrap up here, remember, manifestation isn't about forcing outcomes. It's not about that. It's about aligning your conscious focus and subconscious patterns so your beautiful, magnificent brain naturally begins supporting the life you're calling in. And the beautiful truth is, my friend, that your brain is always listening, is always reshaping. So start whispering to it the story you actually want to live. I hope that now that you have all this information, that you not only learn the what, but also the why behind the brain science of manifestation. If this resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with someone who's on their journey to that very close friend, that boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know, uncle, aunt, mom, dad, anybody, anyone. Please share this podcast with them and also leave me a review. This is the easiest way you can support me and my work. Okay, beautiful soul, it is my wish that this episode serves and blesses you. Until next time, keep choosing thoughts, feelings, and habits that align with the life you want to create. You're literally rewiring your brain for the reality you desire. And you know what else? You are magic. I'm sending you love. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard helped you, the number one way you can thank me is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. My mission is that you feel empowered and more spiritually connected after listening, so your feedback means the world to me. Just scroll down to where it says write a review and leave me yours. And if you love what NeuroSoulSync is about, please share with your family and friends. I believe the world becomes a better place when we come together collectively to make the change. I look forward to be with you next week.